Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the start line by an actor, dancer, singer, best known as the leader of the Sharks from West Side Story. Now, you can read his memoir, My West Side Story. We welcome George Chakiris.
Hey, thank you. God, you got such a great voice.
George, let's go beyond the mic. 60 years ago, you won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for West Side Story. What's your favorite memories from shooting?
Oh, my God. All of us working on that movie had the most beautiful time. We worked really hard, but we so loved what we were doing that it was just a fantastic experience. Every day was something to look forward to, and everybody connected with the film, no matter how they were connected with the film, felt the same way. There was an atmosphere to that production because of the material that just pulled in everybody in town. We had visitors come to the set from Angie Dickinson, I remember, came over one day looking gorgeous, and she was making a movie with John Wayne and those fantastic legs. She was still in costume. But so people came to visit the set constantly, and we got to meet people very briefly that way. But the word was out about this movie before it ever was, came to the screen, came to audiences, because people had seen the rushes and so, people talk, and it was wonderful talk, but the atmosphere was just so beautiful, and so it pulled everybody in. And then when people came to this, I think everybody had a great time watching this young cast have, with all that energy, loving what they were doing and having such a great time.
Why was writing My West Side Story so important for you?
Well, I don't know how. I guess I could say this. The thing that is important to me about it is to hopefully be honest and hopefully say things correctly. But so it was important to me just because it was an opportunity to talk about my experiences and the things that I've done in my life, the people I had the good fortune to be around, to people to work with. I've been around some just extraordinary people over the years, starting as a chorus dancer behind Marilyn Monroe, behind Rosie Clooney, working with Judy Garland. I mean, it's a phenomenal list of really extraordinary people, and I've been around long enough that it is a long list, and it's a really impressive one. And I'm so lucky that I've been able to have those experiences and meet those people and work with them as well.
Of Jerome Robbins, Stephen Sondheim, Arthur Lawrence, and Leonard Bernstein, who influenced you the most?
Well, because we were working directly with him, I would say Jerry Robbins. Jerry, I did the London Company before I did the movie. I played Riff for a year and a half in theater in London, and that was directed by Jerry. And of course, Jerry directed the film with Robert Wise. So we were constant. I worked with Jerry for, 3 years or for a long time. And he was a phenomenal person to work for, to work with. He was an extraordinary perfectionist with himself first. And, I remember once, so to answer your question, Jerry Robbins, because I was around him for a long time, working in the stage version and the theater version. Leonard Bernstein I got to meet once, I'm sorry to say. I did meet Stephen Sondheim, and later, I think 1971, I did Company, a Stephen Sondheim show with Elaine Stritch. So we did it here in Los Angeles. So I got to work with Stephen as well later. But the one person from the people who created West Side Story, the one person that I was really around, we all were around quite a lot, was Jerome Robbins. And it was fantastic to be in the same room with that man.
Which role, Riff, which you played in London, or Bernardo for the movie, did you prefer more?
Well, I have a theater experience. Working in the theater is different from working on film. So, and I really loved the theater I loved working in the theater. So I have to say that I feel equally strong about both of them because I loved playing Riff and I also loved playing Bernardo. The beautiful thing about Bernardo was I think in a way I identified more with who he was, who he is, and what was happening to him in his life and on the streets and protecting his sister and all of that, and the prejudice he and his fellow members had to put up with. I suppose, okay, and now I realize, and I'm trying to answer your question, I'm sorry, I would say Bernardo because it brought different emotions and thoughts and feelings, and it reminds me of the prejudice that the Sharks had to endure. Yeah.
You design jewelry, so what's your favorite piece of your own designer jewelry?
Oh, wow. Okay. I started using a scarab, which is used quite a lot in Japanese. Egyptian art. I started with designing things using a scarab as the center part, and I have a scarab cuff bracelet that I made a long time ago. It is one of my favorites. I really like it, and it's something that it sells really well. So I would say my scarab cuff bracelet is one of my favorite things.
If you could tell 24-year-old George Chakiris something, what would you tell him?
Never give anyone power of attorney, because that's something I did, and it really, I didn't know it, but it was a bad idea, because it allows the person you give it to make decisions, without consulting you. And in my case, the woman that I gave power of attorney to made some unfortunately not very good decisions. So if I was talking to myself, I would say, be careful of anyone who is trying to take control.
And what's the favorite of all your 4 albums?
Oh, well, I'll go back to the album with God. The first album I was playing Riff in London for, it's a Gershwin album, and Gershwin is so fantastic. It's hard, you can't go wrong with Gershwin. My Gershwin album, I think, is my favorite album, but at Capitol, there was an album that I made. It was just called George Chakiris, and I thought that was a very good album. It was beautifully produced. We had great orchestrations and really, again, wonderful material. So those 2 albums are the ones that I liked all of them because I love recording so much. But those 2, I think really stand the test of time. At least I hope they do.
He uses his Academy Award as a book stopper.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh, I'm talking to. I just now saw you. I haven't looked at the screen till now. But I usually keep that. I usually keep my Oscar on another shelf in another room. But for this, I thought I should have it back there. So I moved it specially for this.
His new memoir, My West Side Story, is available. We thank George Chakiris for talking with us today.
Thank you. And sorry I looked at the screen too late.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.